Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Noah, aka Broke Boy Comics here. I'm here at the Douglas Everett Arena for Little Giant Comic Con. I'm super excited. There's gonna be a ton of great vendors in here, so we're gonna see what's there and pick up some really good stuff. And there you guys have it. That was the Little Giant Old School Comic Show up in Concord, New Hampshire, which, what else can I say besides that show was an absolute blast of a time. It was probably the largest collection of high-value comics that I've seen in one place so far, and it is absolutely one of the best strictly comic book shows that I've been to in my comic collecting history in general. And if you guys remember from my 3 Men in a Basement comic book crawl video where I visited the Little Giant comic book shop that they have in Massachusetts, that shop was absolutely insane. The comic book wall in their store was awesome, which that was just only a taste of what they were bringing to the show. And when I got to the Douglas Everett Arena, I was blown away by the huge table that they had and the very long wall of awesome books, as you guys saw in the footage. And this space held a lot of awesome vendors as well as a handful of great comic book creators. So this show was just amazing, I will say. I had an absolute blast. And shout out to everyone that I saw there. There were so many people that came to the show, so it was really fun hanging out with absolutely everyone. And shout out to all the great vendors for being set up and bringing some awesome books to the show. I love seeing everything that everyone else was getting, and I cannot wait to show off what I got at the show. And one specific shout out I want to make, because I have his business card, is Comic Spa. So this is Jeff. You guys might know him a lot from Lunch Money Comics videos, where he does a fantastic comic book pressing job and a numerous amount of different techniques he'll do on comic books. So at the Little Giant show, it was my first time meeting Jeff from the Comic Spa. So shout out to you. He's an awesome, super nice guy. And I've talked to him a few times since then. So it was really cool to meet him finally for the first time at this show. And of course, I got to give some quick shout outs to other people that I saw there. 3 Men in a Basement, Buzz Comics, Josh, he was set up at the show. Comic CT and Adam Miller were also set up there. And the absolute biggest shout out to the people that put on the show. You guys did a fantastic job, and I cannot wait to go next year, because you already know that I'm definitely planning to put this on my rotation yearly. And if I didn't mention your name and we did talk and chat at the show, I apologize. There was a ton of people that day, as well as every single convention that I go to. But just know that you are all loved by me, because I love this community. And this show just solidified that fact for me, because it, again, was just a fantastic time. Hey guys, the fact that I saw a Detective Comics 27 in person for the first time, as you saw in the footage, that was insane. I was not expecting to run into that book at the show. But again, it was my first time seeing that in person, so it was really, really cool. As well as all of the other huge books that I saw at the show. Again, this show had a large collection of high-value books that I haven't really seen all in one place. The other place that comes close to it was one person's booth at Rhode Island Con. But even Rhode Island Con isn't a strictly comic book show, whereas Little Giant is. And it was just awesome. Alright, so without me yapping for any longer about how much I love this show, let's start getting into what I brought home with me. So, one of the first things I want to show off, and I'll use it as my stand for the background, is something I got from Chinmo from 3 in a Basement. This was actually a late birthday present during the time of the show. It is this Batman statue. So I will open this up and show it to you guys, but I'm in absolute love of it. So, let's open it up. And here it is, guys. So this is the Batman statue. It is a Jim Shore design from 2019. And I want to say this is made out of wood. Just when I tap it and it makes a sound. But I honestly love, I'll get close for you guys. I love almost this handmade design of it. It's almost like you can see the carvings in the statue. So I think that is super cool. I love the colors of this as well. And yeah, this is definitely staying in the collection. It's an awesome Batman statue. And again, eventually when I get my display back up, I know it's been so many videos of me saying that, but this will be going on the display with all of the other awesome things I now have in my collection to be able to display in the background. So anyways, now that I showed off the statue, let's use it as a stand so Batman can hold the other comic books that I got at this show. Alright guys, and here we are. I honestly really like the look of the vinyl stickers I have of the onomatopoeia words in the background, as well as the Batman statue in the front. I think it looks pretty cool. But let's get going into the comic books that I picked up at Little Giant, and we're going to start off with some nice, tame filler books here. and we're going to progressively get into some big books. So let's get going. The first few books we have to show off here is a few Walking Dead filler issues. I have been picking up more of this series as I am getting closer and closer to finishing it. This first one here being the Walking Dead number 57. Just a very cool green cover with them fighting some walkers here, and I like the shadow contrast of it as well. A very cool cover in my opinion, and there it is, not a key whatsoever, but a decently early issue of the Walking Dead run. So there we are, number 57. Next book here, not too many issues after 57, we have issue number 59. So there we are, a car running through a horde of walkers, which I think is awesome. I really do love this cover, and if I ever do meet the artist of the Walking Dead series at a show, I am 100% getting a ton of comic books signed by them because I love so many of these covers. So there we are, the Walking Dead number 59, just another awesome cool filler book. Next one here, going up in issues, we have the Walking Dead number 84, part of the No Way Out storyline. This is part 5. Just another very cool cover there. I do really like the purple portion of the trade dress with this story there. Just another very cool filler. Happy to pick it up and add it into the collection. And this last Walking Dead book here is definitely one of my favorites, and it is a key. This one here is The Walking Dead number 100, and yes, I know it is another Walking Dead issue number 100, but there's so many variants out there and so many cool variants. How could I not pick it up continuously? This one here is a Ryan Ottley cover, and the key significance, if you don't already know from watching my previous videos, this is the first appearance of Negan and his Bat Lucille, as well as the death of Glenn, spoiler alert, but this cover by Ryan Ottley here is just an awesome image of Michonne slicing up some walkers, so it is absolutely a cover that I had to pick up when I saw it. So very happy to have found this one and add it into the collection as well. So there we go, some awesome Walking Dead books to keep filling in that run. And going from Image to Marvel really quick, this next one here is Daredevil number 1. This is an incentive variant, a 1:50 ratio, and the cover is by Joe Quesada. So a very awesome Daredevil cover. I saw this multiple times. I actually got this from Chinmo from 3 Minute Basement, as well as this next one. And of course, you guys know I pretty much am always shopping at his booth when he is set up, and he's had this at a few shows now. So when I finally saw this again at Little Giant, I decided to pull the trigger and pick up this awesome Daredevil cover. And for those of you who don't know, a ratio or incentive variant is a variant cover of a comic book that a comic shop or comic person needs to order enough of for them to get this variant. So this being a 1:50 incentive variant, a comic shop would have had to order 50 books of cover A in order to get this variant cover. So it is definitely more rare than cover A of this run. And I'll say that finding these in the wild is really cool. I enjoy finding incentive variants like these because my local comic shop doesn't really get many of these. So when I am able to find them in the wild, it is very likely, if it's a cool cover, I will most likely be picking it up of one of my favorite characters. So, and I absolutely love kind of almost how simplistic it is. The only colors in this cover is red, black, and white. And I love the use of it. I think Joe Quesada did an awesome job at this cover. And this was from the Volume 7 run from Daredevil in 2022, but it looks like Quesada signed it in 2016. So that is kind of interesting. I wonder if he's had this in the works for a long time and finally decided to use it. But just an awesome 1:50 ratio variant that I was very happy to pick up and add into my Daredevil collection. So very nice. And this next one here, going to DC now for the last few books here that I'm going to be showing off. This one here is Supergirl number 7. This is of her very first titled solo series. And this is a key. This is actually the first team up between Supergirl and Zatanna. This book, coming out in 1973, is just that classic DC Bronze Age that I love, with the 20 cent and the DC logo very symmetrical at the top there. Supergirl's outfit has definitely improved over the years, but Zatanna is looking just as good as ever. them for some reason fighting over a snowman, which it is funny that in the story of this book, the person that they're fighting over is actually already taken. So they were fighting for nothing. Spoiler alert for the story on the inside, but very cool. I love this team up, and I don't collect Supergirl, but again, this is DC Bronze Age that I love. So it's Supergirl and Zatanna's first team up. So it's just an awesome key and awesome cover, and I'm very happy to have picked this up. And what can I say? A beautiful cover as well. Alright, getting to the real goods of this haul now. The second to last Raw book that I have to show. And yes, I did emphasize Raw because I do have some slabs I will be showing off. This book here is The Atom number 34. Just an amazingly beautiful DC Silver Age book and an amazing grade. This one was graded at about an 8 to an 8.5, which for Silver Age is very, very hard to find. The colors of this book absolutely pop. This cover by Gil Kane and Murphy Anderson, a legendary team up in DC. They kill it in the Atom covers, and I got this one as well as the next book at the Little Giant booth, and I'm very happy to have shopped that booth because they had so many great books to sell there. If you guys are ever in the area of their actual shop, I highly suggest that you go, because their range of books from silver to modern is insane. And this book is just an example of the high quality books that they come across. And again, for a DC Silver Age 8.0 to 8.5, how could I have passed this up, especially since I started collecting this series finally, after being interested in the Atom series for so long and just being in love with DC Silver Age in general. I'm very happy to have picked up this amazingly beautiful and colorful cover of Atom 34. So there we go. And this last Raw book that I have here is an absolute gem, and it's surprising that I'm realizing this now, that as much as I love DC Silver and Bronze Age, for some reason I haven't really been picking up a ton of Batman Silver Age, which is very surprising for me with the amount of Batman that I pick up. But this one being an amazing addition to my collection, this one here being Detective Comics number 317. This book is amongst one of the earliest books I own in my collection from 1963, and this cover is really, really cool, and I have flipped through this, and the story is definitely interesting. Obviously, we do have that Silver Age goofiness here, where Batman has a flying bat cave disguised in the clouds, and he's jumping down with a glider bat wings, which I guess is an early prototype of bat wings or bat glider, whatever. I think it's just funny that he has a glider and his cape is separate, where in today's rendition of Batman, his cape usually is kind of his glider. So I think that's just super funny. There is also a second story in here of Martian Manhunter fighting some alien robots who breathe fire, which is so cool. Martian Manhunter is another one of my favorite DC characters, and honestly, I think he's kind of overpowered. But anyways, when I saw this book on the wall of Little Giant's booth, I fell in love immediately, especially because this book as well, they had graded at about an 8.0 to an 8.5, which, again, like I was saying from the Anna book, finding DC Silver Age in this grade is very, very tough. So I always jump at the chance to find a high grade Silver Age book whenever I can. And that is the range that I love collecting Silver and Bronze Age in. Even though it's tough to find, that just makes the hunt that much better when you do actually find a book in this grade. And obviously, guys, it is Silver Age, so mid-grade is always acceptable in my book. Lower grade is kind of getting down to something that I will eventually want to upgrade. But why buy a book that you're going to upgrade eventually when you can just jump straight to the higher copy? I will say that this book, I have no need to feel to upgrade, and as well as the Atom book that I just got, because they're in amazing shape. So guys, this is an amazing addition to my Detective Comics run that I am very happy to have picked up and brought home. There we go, Detective Comics 317. And now let's jump back to the other view of myself to show you off some slabs, because in my last video, it was a little awkward showing them on the table. Even though I've never done that before. I've always shown slabs facing the camera. So we're just going to go back to that in this video. So let's turn back around and show you the really big books that I got. Alright folks, hold on to your socks because I'm about to knock them off with these next two amazing books that I grabbed from Little Giant. And these are just some fantastic additions to my collection. I'm super happy to show them off. And yeah, so this first one, I actually didn't purchase at Little Giant technically, so that's why I'm going to show it off first. This book I purchased all the way back in Terrificon 2024. And if you guys are longtime watchers of the channel, you guys might remember what this book is, but I never actually showed it in the end of my haul because I sent this off to get cleaned and pressed and then graded. And I haven't gotten it back until Little Giant. So, that book being this amazing Batman key. And I will hide the grade as a surprise for those of you who don't know, who was there at the time of me getting this back. This book being Batman number 189, the first Silver Age appearance of Scarecrow. Oh, I am so happy to have this back in my hands. Again, I purchased this all the way back at Terrificon. And it's just, it was so long that I owned this book, but I didn't have it. I didn't even get to bring it home. I literally sent it off the day that I bought it. So I am super happy to have gotten this back. And the grade that I got, I will show you in a second, is a 3.5 off-white to white pages. So I was hoping for a 4. However, there was a lot of spine stress on here that did knock a ton of the grade off, as well as there was some etching, there were some pencil marks in the back, and there was a lot of color taken off. So that is the biggest things that ding the grade down. And it's funny, when I got this at Little Giant, I almost upgraded it same day. So the next book I'll show you, I'll explain it in a second, but yeah, I almost upgraded this book the same day, but I decided that it was better to spend my money on a book that I didn't have than one that I already owned that I could just upgrade later. Again, you know, I haven't even had this really in my collection yet, so I was just so happy to get it back, and I wanted to keep it for now. So this will be getting upgraded at some point because a 3.5 doesn't fully sit well with me. I do want a higher grade copy of this book, but as of right now, this is a beautiful addition to the collection. I am very, very happy with this amazing cover. This book, you know, from 1967, honestly, it presents pretty well on camera, but again, there is a lot of stress on the spine as well as creases in the corner, things like that. Honestly though, this is still a beautiful book. I love this cover, and I do actually have something in the works to go along with this book. It actually won't be ready until Terrificon, so we'll have to wait a few more months to get that. But I am, again, very happy to finally have this back in my hands. And yeah, I'm including it in part of this video because I got it at Little Giant. So there we go. That's 1 out of 2 amazing books that I came home with. Alright, and the second slab that I walked away with. This is the book that I decided to get instead of upgrading my Batman 189. Because in this case, when I bought this book, I would never have to upgrade it again because it is a great grade. Yeah, and I'll show you in a second why I didn't have to upgrade it. And the book that I'm talking about is this. This is the Amazing Spider-Man number 361, the first appearance of Cletus Cassidy as Carnage. And obviously, if you can put together me saying I wouldn't have to upgrade it again, the grade on this book being a 9.8 white pages. This is a beautiful book. I've always been in love with this book ever since I got into collecting comics, especially diving deeper into the bigger keys in all of my favorite characters. Mark Bagley and Randy Emberlin kill it on this cover. I think it is one of the best out of the 90s. So, I mean, whoa, before you get upset at me, all of the Venom stuff obviously has to get a big shout out, but Carnage would have never happened without Venom. So, we can thank Venom for it. and we can thank our comic book creators for this amazing character and this amazing book in a 9.8. So, this book I got from, and I have their card here, Reese's Rare Comics. And this guy's booth was one of the best at the show, honestly, in my opinion. He had so many high-value, fantastic books. I believe I saw first Barry Allen there. I believe there was a first Green Lantern, Hal Jordan. There was a ton of first appearance Spider-Man villains, a ton of first appearance Batman villains too. So it was at their booth that I saw, I believe it was a 5.5 of Batman 189. I almost traded my 3.5 for that, but then I saw this and I said, well, I wouldn't have to upgrade that. As well as I have been interested in getting this in a 9.8 for a very long time. So I decided again to keep the 3.5 Batman 189 and go with the Amazing Spider-Man 361 9.8. I am very, very happy to add this awesome Spider-Man key into my collection, especially in that amazing grade. So again, I cannot wait for my display in the background so I can display all of these amazing books, because I was holding this up earlier in front of each other before I was recording, and these two look beautiful next to each other. An awesome DC key and an awesome Marvel key, and two of the best characters in each franchise. Yeah, I think these guys look beautiful together, and I'm super excited to finally put these somewhere, not in a box, really. But yeah, these are just two books I'm so happy to have come home with, and just some really big keys I was not expecting to get at the show. And there you guys go, some amazing comic book pickups, one of my favorite hauls of the year at the Little Giant Comic Book Show. I am super excited to go next year in 2026. Put down in the comments below if you guys are thinking about going. I think you absolutely should. Let me know if any of these books are one of your favorites from the haul, or if you own these yourself. Let me know if you picked up anything at the show, if you went. If you have a criticism, anything like that, put it down in the comments. If you enjoy my content, please make sure to subscribe and like the video. And with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, collect what you love, but do not go too broke while doing it. I made a good example of that during the show. I definitely left the show with a little bit less money in my wallet. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you all in the next video, and take care of yourselves. Until next time. Let's go. Some really amazing books at a little comic show. And very old school as well. Let me guys know what you guys thought about the show, as well as my pickups. Alright, we're doing the outro because I gibberished, and I really hope I didn't do that at any other point in the video, because I really don't want to go back. Again, a fantastic fantastic shime. And there you guys that go, no, oh my god, I need to go to bed.